Welcome to today's deep dive. We're jumping into some really fascinating material today, exploring this highly revered metaphysical tool.
Yeah, red tiger's eye.
Right, which is often called dragon's eye, depending on who you talk to. And we're working with an incredibly detailed guide compiled in the book Crystals by Rob.
It's a fantastic resource.
It really is. And our mission for this deep dive isn't just to, rattle off a list of geological facts or throw around spiritual buzzwords. We really want to decode the underlying mechanics of this stone.
Exactly. Taking a look at the metaphysical, the emotional, and the practical foundations.
Yeah, to really understand how this specific piece of the earth actually shifts human energy. Because it takes you from a state of purely mental focus, being entirely trapped in your own head, into this state of physical vitality and bold, courageous action. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Imagine, if you will, a blacksmith's forge. The air is thick, the heat is absolutely suffocating, and right in the center of the coals is this piece of raw, unshaped iron.
Ooh, I like this analogy.
Right. On its own, it's just a rock. But when you apply intense, deliberate heat, something foundational changes. The iron doesn't just get hot, it transforms.
It tempers.
Yes, it becomes a sword. It becomes something with purpose, edge, and resilience, ready for battle. And Rob's guide points out that historically, warriors actually used this exact stone for protection, specifically to keep fear at bay when they were heading into combat.
And that forge imagery is actually highly appropriate here because the physical creation of red tiger's eye mirrors that exact tempering process.
Wait, really? The actual geology of it?
Yeah. So traditional golden tiger's eye is primarily silicon dioxide, quartz with iron oxide inclusions. And it's known for its chatoyancy.
Chatoyancy, that's the shimmer, right?
Right, that classic cat's eye shimmer you see moving just beneath the surface when you roll it in your hand. But the red variant we are looking at today, it gets its deep, earthy crimson hue from the oxidization of that iron. Yeah, which happens either naturally through geothermal pressure inside the earth or through a deliberate, gentle heat treatment after it's mined.
So the stone had literally been through the fire.
Precisely. And in metaphysical traditions, that physical alteration changes its energetic frequency.
Makes sense.
So while traditional golden tiger's eye is widely known for establishing a baseline of mental grounding, the oxidation process in the red variant uniquely alters its function. It takes that grounding baseline and injects a fierce, invigorating boost of courage and passion.
So it's not just calming you down.
No, not at all. Instead of keeping the energy centered in the mind, it forces the energy downward, deep into the physical body.
Which is something I think every single person listening to this has desperately needed at some point. I mean, think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you ever feel completely paralyzed by your own thoughts? Like, you have a massive task in front of you, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just, you cannot find the physical drive to actually execute it.
You're just frozen by the mental weight of it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Frozen.
And it's really the defining struggle of the modern information age. We live entirely in our heads. We overthink, we ruminate, we process endless streams of data.
So much data.
Right. And our physical bodies essentially freeze up in response to all that mental friction. The energy gets completely gridlocked from the neck up.
Well, and if the energy is moving down into the physical body, like you said, that explains why Rob's guide claims this stone actively targets the unmotivated.
It's essentially thawing out that mental freeze.
Yeah. So if you're sitting there at a random Tuesday afternoon, staring blankly at your laptop, this piece of oxidized quartz and iron is supposed to break the cycle of procrastination.
It replaces insecurity with a can-do attitude.
Right. But I really want to dig into the actual mechanics of this because the claims in the guide get incredibly specific here. Emotionally, it provides strength. But physically, it's said to speed up a slow metabolism, increase physical stamina, and clear out stagnant energy in the lower half of the body.
Yes, specifically supporting blood circulation and the reproductive system.
But, wait, I have to ask, how does an external rock actually speed up human cellular metabolism? Is the claim that it emits a literal frequency that stimulates blood flow? Or is it more of a psychosomatic response to the grounding energy?
It's largely viewed through the lens of bioenergetic resonance.
Okay, what does that mean in plain English?
Well, the theory outlined in these metaphysical frameworks is that everything, including the human body, operates at specific frequencies. When your energy is stuck in your head, from anxiety, overthinking, your lower body energy becomes stagnant.
Sure.
Your breathing gets shallow, your circulation physically slows down because you're sedentary, and your adrenal system gets locked in a low-grade delayed fight or flight freeze response.
So you're just tense but not moving.
Exactly. By introducing the dense, earthy frequency of oxidized iron into your biofield, the stone acts like a tuning fork. It draws your awareness and your energetic flow back down to your root.
Okay, so it's basically reminding your body that it actually has a lower half.
Essentially, yes. And when your energy roots back down into your physical form, your parasympathetic nervous system stabilizes. You breathe deeper. Your circulation improves.
Oh, so the physical benefits are a byproduct of the nervous system calming down?
Exactly. Your endocrine and reproductive systems, which suffer when you're in a chronic state of mental stress, begin to function optimally again because the stagnant energy gridlock has been cleared. It's a holistic cascade effect.
That makes a lot of sense.
Furthermore, the text mentions it acts as a protective shield, reflecting negative energy back to its source, which prevents your own energy reserves from being drained by external factors.
Ah, the classic energy vampires in your life.
Exactly those.
Okay, but I have to push back on this material for a second, because I'm reading this and I'm looking at the combination of effects.
Okay, sure.
If this stone is constantly speeding up your metabolism, injecting you with all this fiery dragon energy, pushing you to face high-pressure situations, and making you hyper-aware of energy vampires.
Doesn't that run the risk of causing massive burnout?
Yes, or at least overwhelming anxiety. I mean, if a listener is already incredibly stressed out, adding fire and speed sounds like throwing gasoline on a very nervous spark.
What's fascinating here is that the guide explicitly addresses this paradox. It doesn't induce chaotic, nervous energy.
It doesn't.
No, it's quite the opposite. It actually alleviates anxiety, stress, and fear. The key is the grounding aspect.
Okay, explain that.
Well, if you just add fire to a stressed mind, yes, you get a wildfire. But Red Tiger's Eye operates by creating a profound emotional stability first.
Ah.
It acts as a fierce protector during emotional and mental healing, shielding you from the chaotic energies around you so that the fire it stokes inside you is highly focused and deeply controlled.
So it's the difference between a controlled burn in a fireplace, which keeps the house warm, and a wildfire that burns the house down. And the iron provides the heavy iron grate for the fireplace.
That's a great way to look at it. It allows you to face challenges with calm clarity rather than swinging into emotional extremes. It forces you to maintain a centered physical state even when the environment around you is completely chaotic.
Got it. And to really understand how Red Tiger's Eye can simultaneously ground us to the floor and light a fire under us,
Right.
we have to look at the energetic architecture holding that fire.
Right, the chakras.
Exactly, because you can't talk about energy moving down into the body without talking about the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And since we are dealing with an audience that likely knows their way around metaphysical concepts, we don't need to do a basic Chakra 101 class here.
Mm-hmm.
But what Rob highlights in the guide regarding the lower chakras is incredibly specific.
It is, and the alignment is crucial here. Red Tiger's Eye resonates most powerfully with the root chakra, anchoring your energy firmly to the ground, providing that sense of belonging and survival security.
Foundation.
Right. But because of its stimulating, heat-treated nature, it doesn't just sit at the base of the spine. It reaches up into the sacral chakra, your center, for creativity, passion, and flow. And it also stimulates the solar plexus chakra, which governs your personal power, your willpower, and your confidence to act.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the guide uses this combination to explain the concept of spiritual manifestation.
Yes, a big topic.
Huge. And spiritual manifestation is often described as pulling high-frequency spiritual ideas down into the physical realm so they could actually be acted upon.
Grounding the abstract.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Your higher spiritual chakras, like the crown, the third eye, are a brilliant visionary architect. They're drawing up these incredible high-frequency blueprints for your life.
Okay, follow.
But an architect doesn't actually build the house. If you only have the architect, you just have a bunch of pretty drawings sitting on a desk. Red Tiger's Eye acts as the foreman down at the root chakra.
Oh, I like that.
It takes those lofty blueprints, organizes the physical construction crew, pours the concrete, and actually builds the house in the physical, tangible world.
I'd actually push that analogy a bit further.
Oh, really? How so?
It's not just that the root chakra acts as the foreman. It's that the stone forces the architect to actually put on a hard hat and walk onto the muddy job site.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it demands integration. The guide has a profound reminder that we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Right.
The goal of utilizing a stone like this isn't to float away into the ether or to meditate your way out of your physical body. It's about bringing your spiritual beliefs, your highest visions, directly into your daily physical actions and choices.
Taking the ethereal and making it dense.
Exactly. And that downward integration actually creates a clearer channel upwards.
How so?
Well, the text notes that meditating with red tiger's eye can stimulate a Kundalini awakening, activating that dormant energy at the base of the spine, and it can even help open the third eye chakra.
Wait, hold on. How does a stone that is so heavily focused on the root and the physical body open the third eye, which is all about psychic vision and subconscious insight?
Yeah.
That feels contradictory.
It seems contradictory until you look at the mechanics of a closed circuit. You cannot safely push high voltage energy through a system that isn't properly grounded.
Oh, of course. Just like an actual electrical wiring.
Exactly. If you try to open your third eye without a solid root foundation, you risk mental instability, paranoia, or dissociation.
You just short it out.
Right. By maintaining a massive, heavy, steady flow of energy at the root, red tiger's eye provides the necessary grounding wire. It allows you to access much deeper subconscious insights and higher states of consciousness without losing your grip on physical reality.
So you can reach higher because your roots are deeper.
Precisely.
That makes perfect sense. So, okay, we have this high-level spiritual theory, the architecture of the soul, Kundalini awakenings. But let's bring this out of the theoretical and into your everyday life.
The practical application.
Yeah. How do you practically use this stone? And what is the deal with the incredibly massive web of symbols and correspondences associated with it in Rob's guide?
Well, the practical applications are direct extensions of the mechanics we just discussed. If you are struggling with overcoming procrastination or mental gridlock, the guide suggests keeping a piece of red tiger's eye right on your work desk.
And the logic there is that its proximity is constantly broadcasting that dense, lower chakra frequency, acting as a psychological and energetic barrier against the mental static that causes you to avoid your deadlines.
Yes, it enhances focus by quieting the mental panic. They also suggest carrying it in your pocket during a workout or a physically demanding workday to maintain physical stamina.
Which ties directly back to the bioenergetic resonance we discussed regarding metabolism and lower body circulation.
Exactly. Alternatively, placing a specimen in the bedroom is recommended to support libido, enhance passion, and build emotional connection between partners.
Which is pure sacral chakra activation.
Right. And holding the stone before stepping onto a stage or entering a high-stakes meeting taps into the solar plexus, calming the nerves and helping you project a very physical aura of confidence.
Okay, I track all of that. But then the guide dives into these massive, incredibly detailed lists of correspondences for the chakras. And honestly, it's a lot to process.
It is quite dense.
Yeah, so you should probably walk us through this because it spans across elements, animals, deities, and herbs.
Well, the correspondence lists are a cornerstone of metaphysical practice. For the sacral chakra, the guide lists the water element, the color orange, and animals like dragons, dolphins, and crabs.
Okay.
It brings in Archangel Gabriel and gods and goddesses like Aphrodite, Poseidon, and Hades. For botanicals, it lists herbs like cinnamon and hibiscus.
And then the root chakra lists are completely different in tone.
Very different.
For the root, we're looking at the earth element, the color red. Animals like bears, wolves, and ants.
Yes, ants.
It lists gods like Pan and Dionysus and herbs like ashwagandha root, turmeric root, and patchouli. So what does this all mean? How are you, the listener, supposed to reconcile all these incredibly diverse associations?
It seems like a random mix, doesn't it?
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, what do a tiny little ant, the Greek god of wine Dionysus, and a piece of oxidized iron possibly have in common?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to realize that these lists aren't just random assortments of mythological figures and plants thrown together.
Okay.
In esoteric traditions, correspondences represent different sensory pathways to the exact same underlying frequency.
Well, break that down for me. Break the frequency of the root chakra down using the list.
Sure. The core themes of the root chakra are foundation, stability, physical survival, and slow, steady building. Now, look at the ant.
Okay.
An ant is an earth-dwelling creature whose entire biological existence is based on building a solid, complex physical foundation and carrying physical weight far beyond its size.
That's a good point.
It is the biological embodiment of tireless root chakra energy. And then look at the herbs. Ashwagandha, turmeric, and dandelion are literally roots. They grow deep into the dark, dense soil, absorbing the earth's heavy nutrients. Okay, I see that. But what about Dionysus? Most people hear Dionysus and think of wine, partying, and a distinct lack of grounding.
That's the pop culture version of Dionysus.
Ah, okay.
In deeper mythology, Dionysus represents the raw, untamed, earthy forces of nature and the physical body. He represents the wildness of physical existence and the grounding of the spirit into the flesh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he, the ant, the turmeric root, and the red tiger's eye are all broadcasting on the same root frequency.
That is fascinating. So if we apply that logic to the sacral chakra list, it's the center of flow, emotion, and passion.
Exactly.
So you have the water element, you have dolphins and water snakes, which glide fluidly through their environments without resistance.
Right.
You have Aphrodite, the absolute embodiment of love, creation, and passion. Cinnamon, which is a warm, stimulating, fiery spice that literally increases physical circulation when consumed.
Precisely. The guide provides these correspondences to give you a multisensory toolkit to tap into the stone's power.
So you can mix and match. Yes. If you are meditating with red tiger's eye to overcome a massive block of procrastination, burning cinnamon and hibiscus incense, or, say, envisioning the fluid, unstoppable energy of a water snake, it helps align your immediate physical environment and your subconscious mind with the exact frequency of the stone.
That's brilliant.
It creates a holistic, immersive experience. You aren't just holding a rock. You are tuning your entire environment to the frequency of physical vitality.
It takes it from being just a paperweight on your desk to being a key that unlocks a whole specific flavor of the universe. It's an entire ecosystem of energy.
It really is.
So, to bring this all together, we started with a piece of raw iron and quartz, oxidized by the earth or by a blacksmith's heat, and through this deep dive into Rob's guide, we've unpacked how this red tiger's eye, this dragon's eye, functions as a highly tuned metaphysical tool.
A very powerful one.
We've seen the mechanics of how it's designed to heal the emotional baggage that keeps us paralyzed in our own heads, how it balances the lower chakras so we are secure enough to be passionate, and how it drives real physical productivity in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
It's asking you to look at your own life, find the places where you're hiding behind your own mental static, and boldly step out of the shadows.
Yeah.
It's about applying the courage of an ancient warrior to your modern, everyday challenges.
It is a remarkable synthesis of earth and energy, but as we wrap up our analysis of its protective qualities, this raises an important question.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we discussed the mechanics of how red tiger's eye acts as a reflective shield. The text states it protects the wearer's energy reserves by reflecting negative energy back to its source, acting as a vibrational barrier that lower frequencies cannot penetrate.
Right, bouncing the bad vibes back to the energy vampires in your office.
Exactly, that's the common application. But if the stone indiscriminately reflects negative energy back to where it originated, what happens when we are the ones generating the negativity?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when the source of the draining energy isn't a bad boss or a toxic friend, but our own negative self-talk?
I didn't even think about that.
Our own internal doubts, our own imposter syndrome, and our own fears. Does meditating with red tiger's eye force us to instantly confront our own inner critic face to face?
Oh, wow. Because if it's a closed circuit, there's nowhere else for that energy to go.
Right. It suggests that the protective shield might actually turn into a mirror for radical self-awareness, bouncing our own insecurities right back at us with intense, fiery clarity until we are brave enough to finally deal with them.
That is a heavy, incredible thought to leave on, because it implies that the true battle the warrior is fighting isn't always out there on the battlefield. Sometimes it's inside the forge of your own mind.
Exactly.
And maybe the intense heat of that reflection is exactly what tempers the sword. We're going to leave you to ponder that idea today. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Red Tiger's Eye. Until next time, stay curious and keep building your foundation.